that sort of influence on me was like going to see bands like the Young Canadians and DOA and stuff, because it sort of gave me, like when I was young, it was that thing of like, you know, you can get up here and do it too, right? You don't have to be a rock star. Like you can get up here and play music and make music. Bands like the Dish Rags or those Vancouver bands, like going to see them, they were probably the ones that had the most influence on me, just as far as saying, I can get up there and do that. Like I'm going to put a band together and get up there and play some shows and just see what happens, right? You know, and having the confidence to do that and to not try and make everything perfect, right? And just having the confidence and the ability to just get up and play, right? And that's why you got to hand it to, you know, people like Dutchman who, you know, gave people a place to play in those days, like Stalag 13 or the Boys Club, or, you know, the other various places that, you know, there was always bands like Chainsaw Running playing and Stab 'em in the abdomen.
It was just after the Swanee Buddha closed down and the scene was starting to deteriorate, so we sort of fractioned off to clubs, I mean, warehouses.
Yeah.
City Space.
City Space, yeah, all those places. And, you know, it's just bands getting up and doing it and having fun, and lots of people were coming out to the shows. So it sort of, it had this, it's sort of not like almost like a perpetual motion sort of thing, because when we used to do shows in warehouses and stuff back then, like you'd be getting 200 or 300 people out to the show, right? So when you were ready to go and play a club, you were actually like able to draw 200 or 300 people, right? You get that buzz going. Whereas now the scene's a little bit smaller. There's also a lot more going on than there used to be. Like, you know, there's so many bands now, right? And there never used to be that many bands.
There was a lot, too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was, as far as, you know, influencing me goes, I would say it's probably that. You know, just like get up and do it.
I like that attitude. I came here from PEI first to move to Toronto, and somebody saw me, you know, at a restaurant and invited me to an open mic jam. I went there and I felt a real cold shoulder. I thought, what am I doing here? And they were perhaps threatened by me, one way, shape, or form. Then I moved here to Vancouver in '91. Toronto I went to in '89. Vancouver I came to in '91. No one cared who you were, what you were, just get up and play. No one cared how good, but then Rush is from Toronto. So maybe that was a high standard. If you can't play to the degree of Rush, don't
Different crowd in Toronto.
Yes, and they do tend to get some really high standard people there, because you know, although Toronto never even came close to holding a candle to Vancouver as far as the punk scene goes. But as far as rock and roll goes, and even stuff like, you know, the Sadies or Ron Sexsmith, like singer-songwriters like that, they tend to gravitate to Toronto because that's where the business is. So, you know, you do have a higher standard. You also have a much bigger population than Vancouver.
Of course.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Whereas now, no disrespect to Toronto, it just, Vancouver allows you to be you. You grow from the inside and you advance. It's easier, for me, it was just easier to become affiliated with the other groups. Off I went.
Yeah, lots of stuff to do, lots of places to play. I think Vancouver's a really vibrant city these days. Like when I hear people saying, "Oh, Vancouver's really boring and there's nowhere to play and there's nothing to do," I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
There's so much to do. Three shows somewhere.
I know.
Which really splits us up, but still, it's nice to have.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think why the crowds are smaller at some shows, because the crowd is really split up these days, right? There's so much happening, and we don't have that population. It's up to us to, as musicians, to have the confidence and go out there and try and sell ourselves to a bigger crowd, right? Like if you get a little bit of hype going, try and keep that hype going and get out there and hit the street and talk to people, and, you know, try and get a little bit of mainstream hype going so that you can try and get the general public out to your gig, right? So instead of trying to draw on the same 20 friends or 30 of your friends who are going to everybody else's shows, you know, try and draw on them, but also try and start appealing to the general public as well. Like, that's why I love playing at places like the Fairview. And as you can see, there's more shows all the time going on at the Fairview. Like they're having Polly and the Liquor Kings.
I'm going to that show.
Strubbler's playing there, right? Which is great. Like
Lachinga
plays there. Like I got it. The Fairview was a blues bar but they really started trying to branch out. And you know, we were actually the first reggae band to play there, and it opened the doors. They started getting all kinds of different bands in there now, and like, you know, when I see bands like Polly and Liquor Kings and Strugglers playing
Polly.
there, La Chinga, it's
Yeah,
like,
they're not catering to one faction now.
yeah,
opening
they're
up.
trying to
Exactly.
broaden out. They're trying to be open-minded, and
Princeton's
it's
really
easy
come
to
a
draw
long
people
way.
there.
The Princeton's come a long
Yeah,
way.
for sure.
Otherwise, the Princeton used to be just.
But the Fairview's on the west side.
Yeah,
That's okay.
All the other ones are on
yeah,
the
it's
east
true. But the
side.
Fairview, the thing I like about the Fairview is it's easy to draw people there, and you also get a walk-up crowd, right? So you get, like, when the Hathaways played at the Fairview, we were looking around and we're going, wow, like there was a bunch of our friends there, but it was like, wow, who are all these people? Where do they come from? And for me, I like that when I'm playing. I like playing to a crowd where it's like you don't necessarily know everybody, right? But you get up there, and if you impress them and they like you and stuff,
They'll come
then
back.
They'll come back and they'll tell people about it, and you know, just sort of building the hype like that, right? I think, you know, Vancouver musicians need to have the confidence that they can build it and keep building it and try and appeal to the general public and try and get to the point where they can play the bigger venues, you know?
Well said.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, thank you for your time.
Hey, no problem.
You had
Thanks
a
for
lot to
joining me.
share with us. Anything
Well,
else
thanks for
you'd like
asking
to
me.
say in closing?
Not really, just looking forward to still playing lots more music. I've been playing music in this town for 33 years, and
He
I just
still
not
has
stopping.
that joy, that passion that drives him. I like that.
Yeah, I enjoy it so much. You know, that's why I say, for me, it's got to be fun because I really
Definitely.
enjoy it. And when I'm performing, I want to give it 100%. And for me, it's like the joy of playing music and sharing music and performing music for people that keeps me going. You know.
Well, thank you very much. This
Yeah, no
is
problem, man.
Freelancing with Sonny with Greg Hathaway.
Cheers,
Thanks
man.
a lot. Take care.